hello, hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James Shea, alongside the leader of Squaw Squad, Coleco Yachts.
Guess who's back? Back again. CeeLo's back. Tell a friend that's Slim Shady. I don't think you know Slim Shady.
I know who Slim Shady is.
You know he's coming out with a new album, though. Booyah!
I did not know that.
Oh yes, Death of Slim Shady. That's why I gave the nod.
And the American Scooter Dust, who is not joining us tonight. But it was a good week for Wrestling Wit, as we interviewed Celine Gray on Monday, Sexy Eddie on Tuesday, and Psycho Boy Fodor on Wednesday. Three very unique and different interviews from each other. Cannot recommend all of them more enough. But looking to the future, we have this upcoming Tuesday, T-Games, Quadzilla. The tag team partner for A1, Emily Locke, we talk about that. Being a state champion weightlifter, Brat Stalls, pro wrestling, obviously, maybe an encounter with Brody Lee, the late great. And a hell of a lot more. Definitely want to check that out. And then on Wednesday, we have the Dickness Reed Matthews. Another great interview from the Edmonton, Ontario area. Love Pro Wrestling. We talk about that. Alan Angels. Zoe Sago, if he's ever beaten Zoe at Uno. Wrestling in WWE arenas, and a hell of, obviously Mars the Specialist, and a hell of a lot more. You definitely want to check that out on Wednesday as well. And then on let's see, on the 14th we have Hottie, and on the 15th we have Stanislaw von der Bronnick. And stay tuned for Wrestling Wit's Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Alright, I believe we're done putting ourselves over. And it wasn't just a great week for Wrestling Wit, it was a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And through all of the fun that we had last week, obviously, you know, everything that Tony Khan and AEW shit on, we forgot to talk about one very important thing that's happening this week. You wasn't here, so can you guess what that one major thing was?
I'm assuming not the CM Punk tape, right?
No.
Not Jack Perry, right?
No.
See, I'm taking every guess I can take.
The highest fruit on the tree.
Nick Khan?
No. Me and Scooter forgot to talk about Backlash last week. And the show is currently going on as we are recording this.
No shit. Well, it is France, and it is super early, and I will say, remember what I told you last year. This is the new WWE formula.
Yes, it is. You know, kind of wish that it was on a Sunday, so we just had that extra day to do the preview. But obviously, we will not forget to do the review next week on the show.
There you go.
That being said, there was some bad news that came out this week, and that is that there are more releases coming from WWE, mainly from NXT. Let me pull up the names real quick. The biggest name on that, the most notable name on that list was a one Drew Gulak. Um, Me and Scooter talked about it being um, maybe they will. WWE took him off TV and because of the Ronda Rousey comments.
Yep.
Um, I didn't think too much of it, but obviously there was smoke where there was fire. No, Kaliko?
Mainly, I think it was just a casualty.
A casualty of the budget cuts? Yep. Did I lose Kaliko?
No. Hello. Yes.
Yes,
No.
can you hear me?
Maybe.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. I
There you go.
see. That's what. Man. God damn it. Anyways, I think he's a casualty of, even if what he was saying was true, what Ronda Rousey said got around the world 10 times over before he even got his boots on, to tell the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got that. Um, it did seem like he had a rebuttal towards it, but, obviously, Ronda Rousey's the bigger star. More people are going to look at what she has to say. Kaliko?
And this is.
Yes, I hear you. Oh, now okay, and we lost Kaliko.
Hello?
Yeah, here.
Now we go. There, see. I have to die and then come back. I don't get it.
Respawn.
But anyway. Respawn. Yes, he became a casualty of Ronda Rousey saying what she's saying, and it hit everything around the block or 10 times over before he even gets to say what he needs to say. And it and that's the thing. It's just like, okay, Ronda Rousey saying it, even though it may be true or not. I mean, the fact that he went on Twitter and acknowledged it was probably the nail in the bed for him. Excuse me, because
Yeah.
if he had handled that backstage, it probably would have been a different story. But I think he felt compelled to clear his name, and in the event of him clearing his name, he sacrificed everything else.
You might be right about that. It wasn't like he would like she put like horrendous allegations on him. It was
Right. It wasn't like a Me Too thing. It was just more like it happened.
yeah,
And the fact that he was like, yeah, it happened, that's what killed him. And I get it because he was just one, and I get it, him being transparent and not trying to be labeled that guy. No pun intended. But that's what cursed him more than anything. Because most of the time, if you just kept your mouth shut, I wouldn't have think twice about it. Because no one was going to care what Drew. Even if he was going to say what he was going to say, no one was going to care what he had to say. So he was better off just shutting the hell up.
maybe Chris Jericho was onto something with those NDAs.
Like 10 times over, boy. Listen, brother.
Well, a part of those releases was a one Drew Gulak, Ezekiel Balonagun, Julian Baldy, Trey Bearhill, Emma Mazaria Diaz, Keyshawn Lee Floor, Valentina Foroza, Daryl Manson, Vlad Paulenko, Kaya Saint, and Boa. Any one of those names stick out to you?
Not really, because I think those are the names that were more lower fruit, and they didn't stand out to get to where they needed to go. So, um, this is coming. Like I don't get why, and I get it. People tend to be concerned because yeah, everybody has a right to have a job and work. Um, but the bigger issue is that what did they do? If they did everything within their power to make it work and it didn't work, they should be able to live with that. But other than that,
Right.
it's part of the game. You have to provide value. And I think we kind of forget that because most people think, oh, well, he's a good wrestler. They should keep him. And it's like, no, what is he doing to provide value?
Are people buying a ticket to see this guy?
Exactly. Because it doesn't matter whether he's good. What matters is he putting ass in the seats.
And speaking of putting asses in seats, that would be Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, who did indeed re-signed with WWE. Um, does it surprise you that it took Drew McIntyre so long to re-sign?
Um, Not really. Because considering he was trying to weigh his options, and I'm betting you he probably thinking, it's like, here's what I'm going to say. Wrestling is like football in professional sports. You never get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate. And most people are thinking, it's like, well, is he worth it? And that's the thing. You get what you think, what you can leverage your worth. And in the event of both of those gentlemen, excuse me for coughing a little bit here, in the leverage of both of those gentlemen, they both have worth beyond of what was, expected of them. In the event, like prime example, Drew, you can make the argument he would have been the hottest free agent in 2024 had he left.
Right.
I mean, both of them would have been the hottest free agents.
But where was they going to go necessarily? I can't really see Drew or Seth in an AEW if I'm being honest.
Well, that's the thing there, and that's another connecting issue because AEW, if you look at how they treated their three biggest signings so far, it hasn't been great, right?
Okada,
So,
Osprey, and
oh,
Monet, right?
well, Osprey is okay, but I was thinking Edge, Monet, Okada, and you see how it's not like they're being relegated to uberly top of the card, right?
Right.
Um, and Seth is a little different to me. Excuse me, because Seth wrestling 2 matches on a torn meniscus, you goddamn right they were going to pay his ass. Like, when his wife came out, I was like, yeah, he tore his meniscus and he still wrestled 2. I'm like, what the? Oh boy, they're going to take care of this guy.
You know, he held up through the whole event, but like after Cody and Roman, you could see that he completely crumbled. He was out of it.
He was no. You could see he was out of it on the first time Drew hit the knee.
I mean, yeah, but I mean he got through it, and to get through that and still make his way into the main event match with Cody and Roman, like wow.
which is bananas. So to me, that's what when people say demonstrate value, think Seth Rollins, because he is the epitome of it. Because he easily could have taken the, okay, I'm gonna drop the title, get the surgery, come back stronger. He literally kept the title, worked 2 matches in 2 nights, so his value to the company skyrocketed.
Oh yeah.
Because not only do they see him as a guy, as a top tier guy, they see him as a top tier dependable guy.
Right.
And sometimes, and that's, I think, what us as fans kind of get jaded on, because to me, I'm thinking the best ability is availability.
And he more or less burned as bright as he could before he went out.
Exactly.
And I mean, this isn't. I mean, it's not like it's the end of Seth Rollins. He's coming back, But it's good that he's taking this time to actually properly heal and take some time off, because that whole heavyweight champion run was completely insane, in a good way.
I mean, when you think about it now, at the end, like it, and that's crazy because we sit there and we do in hindsight 2020. I was like, oh shit, this dude was on it.
Right.
But in the midst of it, they're like, oh shit, why the fuck is he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we kind of get stuck on that. And
Fickle
that's why I'm right. And with Drew's a little different because he literally had to change his whole persona. And the Punk thing kind of helped him in that regard. A lot of factors helped him in the regard of his character switch. And his character switch became so on that you know what I'm saying? People bought into it because honestly, his character switch was relatable.
Right.
In the sense that, dude, I fucking was here during COVID, no one cared, and now I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting mine, and everybody's like, oh yeah, get yours.
Right. And
so it makes sense.
And arguably, Drew is doing the best work he's ever done in WWE with, this whole CM Punk thing, which, in all honesty, just fell into his lap.
It did. I mean, honestly, Punk coming back. You know what's crazy? CM Punk is like this domino effect, the butterfly effect. Like, literally, he gets in a fight with Jack Perry. Jack Perry goes to Japan, comes over. He comes back to WWE. Nobody likes him in WWE, which is like Drew and Seth, the two people who are injured. And now they're getting their bread because of that shit with CM Punk.
Oh, yeah. It's, like you said, the CM Punk effect. Not affected by the CM Punk effect would be one Braun Strowman, who has returned as of last Monday. If I'm being honest, I don't think Braun Strowman adds any value to WWE at this point. He's kind of a relic of one of the worst eras in WWE. But if they do what I hope they're gonna do with him and keep him busy until Uncle Howdy returns, maybe with a Matt Hardy, then there might be smoke where there's fire when it comes to Braun Strowman. Kaliko?
Depends. I mean, granted, he's like one of the last. It seems like he's like one of the last of the Mohicans with the Wyatt family, but they have to. It would have made sense if he came back after Bray beat him.
Well, they fired him.
You see what I'm saying? You say what?
Didn't they fire him after Bray beat him?
Yeah, but yeah, they fired him, but it would have made sense if that came full circle. So at least when he came back, it would have picked up where you left off. There's no
Oh, we lost you, Kaliko, if you can hear me.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. It would have made sense if there was a reason that he went back. Like, what is the reason for him to go with Uncle Howdy?
I mean, that's what the story is going to be, right? How he gets with Uncle Howdy. Maybe there's a match between him and Howdy where he, I don't know, converts him or something. Or maybe, they just decide to do the Wyatt Six. He just decides to come aboard because, the Wyatts and Wyatt powers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Wyatt Power, but my thing is this, is like,
Well,
is it like a Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me, or is it like...
well, let me phrase it this way. But would you rather see Braun Strowman tag teaming with Ricochet, or would you rather him be the muscle for Uncle Howdy? Well, you're actually thinking about this.
Well, because either way is not a great spot. Because you think about it, a lackey for Howdy, who is this mystical superpower being that kind of really doesn't need it, or him tag teaming with Ricochet, who's the current speed champion, and it kind of brings some stability to the tag division.
That is inaccurate, Kaliko. The current speed champion is Tony Khan.
What? Like ADHD?
Yeah.
Like,
Did you not hear me snap?
stop. Yes. No, that doesn't. No. Stop.
Yes. Tony Khan on cocaine. That was for you, Scooter. I phrased it in a rhetorical manner because I don't care to see him with Ricochet. It literally means nothing. That's like if teaming Big Show with Rey Mysterio. What is it going to do for Ito Guy?
I mean, Big Show teams with everybody, so what's the difference?
But did it do anything for him?
I mean, with Jericho, yes. Miz Show, yes.
Well, okay, that's a whole other story. That's just being a lower mid carder with Ricochet, or be an upper mid carder slash main eventer with Howdy, because when Howdy comes back, it's going to have a lot of eyes on it. It's going to be main event matches for Howdy when he comes back. Well, that's what I think anyway. Maybe you think otherwise. Oh, if you can hear me, I don't think I can hear you.
Still have to start from scratch.
Who's going to have to start from scratch?
The Howdy situation. You just can't like plug that in and be like, oh yeah, just go. He has to build his own path.
Right. And, it's kind of, I feel it has to go the route of, he has to right the wrongs that Bray left behind. I was under the impression that we were going to get Roman and Howdy after Mania, but it doesn't look like that's happening for obvious reasons. Oh, you still there?
God damn it. Hello?
Yes.
There we go. I don't know what this hotel is doing. But anyways, so the rumor mill was that Bray and Roman was supposed to fight to cause him to be the antithesis of the tribal chief, to start where he's at now. Now, I don't know how much leverage or how much that plays a factor, whether it's true or false, but Howdy is going to have to be you can have remnants that reminds everybody of Bray, but you do not want it to be heavy on the nostalgia of Bray. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, it's kind of like when Eddie died and Mysterio took it, and like you could only take that so far. Like, especially considering it was Mysterio and not Chavo, which would have made more sense and would have carried it further. They're putting it with Howdy and not even recognizing that person as someone related to Wyatt, right?
I mean, they kind of
So,
already did. I mean, the whole documentary was about that.
I mean, the documentary was about it, but here's the key. Are they going to take what the documentary does and implement it in the WWE sense? Because by that matter, you might as well not have Uncle Howdy. You might as well just have Bo Dallas.
Look, I get that, but it was it was a trip. The documentary was as much a tribute to Bray Wyatt as it was to set up the return of Uncle Howdy. Obviously, the tease at the end.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I just my thing is that Howdy can come back to remind people of Bray, but you do not want it to be too dependent on what Bray does because it's a different brain and it's a different outlook on things, right?
Right.
So that's where I'm trying. It's kind of like, and I'm just going to put it in a musical sense. So there's this rock band called Leonard Skinner, right?
Yep.
Leonard, the lead singer Van Zant, dies in a plane crash, super young. He has a son. The son literally grows to become the lead singer, but the difference between all of that is that the son was exactly like the father in the mannerisms in which he sung, and you know what I'm saying? So he could continue the legacy, right? So it's easier for him to continue that path rather than someone who is. I'm not saying that Bo isn't capable, but what I'm saying is that Bo's thought process on how to run the story may differ from how Bray would run the story. Does that make sense?
Which might not be a bad thing.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be a bad thing, but what I'm saying is I mean, it could be a bad thing, it could not be. But what I'm saying is that let that start from ground up rather than plugging him in the main event. Because when you plug him in the main event, the expectation of the fans is going to be that, oh shit, this is going to be exactly what Bray would think, right?
Right.
Rather than letting people get attached to what Bo is doing. So like you're living and there's nothing wrong with living with the fallacy of what Bray would do, but you have to deal with what Bo is doing than what would someone do.
I gotcha.
And that's where the dichotomy is.
Well, on the AEW side of things, we talked about WWE releases. Ethan Page decided to leave AEW. Um, Honestly, I didn't realize that he was still employed in AEW. So, I guess that's a win for him. And I personally feel like if you have a talent like Ethan Page, you build a division around him. You don't leave him in catering. Um, in my mind, it was just another gross oversight on AEW's part, or um, better yet, Trolley Khan's. Kaliko? No, I don't think we can hear you.
Is
Yes, I can
I
hear you.
mean the thing with AEW is that they're kind of in a transition phase at this point. And I don't know if Tony is trying to figure out who's going to be long term, who's going to be short term, who's going to, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, even Paige was there for maybe like a good 3 years, I would say.
Yeah, but Tony gets attached to the new person that he signs.
The new toy.
It's like Baskin Robbins, the flavor of the month.
Yeah. Which has been
So
AEW's detriment.
to their detriment, because the flavor of the month now is Swerve. No,
And
nothing again. Oh, I would say this: the flavor of the month for him is Osprey, but the problem is that the crowd loves Swerve, and eventually they are going to have to cross paths. There's no way around it. And here's the question: are you going to give Osprey the title at the expense of Swerve's alleged lengthy title run?
well, Swerve has been champion for roughly what, like 2 weeks already.
Oh
Um,
yeah, which
and
I don't get. That I did. For the record, and I would know I wasn't here. I didn't get why they would crown a champion right before Double or Nothing, but considering that Double or Nothing is their WrestleMania, but that's a whole another issue.
well,
Like and I was at we were sitting there and it's like, wait a minute, what? I mean, I had a friend, we were there watching the show. It's like, yeah, he's gonna crown tonight. I'm like, that makes no sense because why wouldn't you just crown him in Vegas with the eyes of the wrestling world and ESPN, because ESPN covers now all types of wrestling. It's easier to get ESPN to sell you a Double or Nothing than Dynasty.
well, obviously, they put the belt on him at Dynasty so they could announce the mega main event of Double or Nothing: Swerve Scott versus Christian Cage.
Which does nothing for Swerve.
I could make the argument it does nothing for Christian as well.
No shit. Because honestly, it's a match where Swerve is expected to win and Christian is expected to lose, and no one. It's one of those things where it's like it doesn't put a jeopardy on Swerve, which would have made sense. I mean, honestly, you might as well have gave Joe the rematch. Shit.
And that might have been a better match. Well, I can't shit on Christian. He's a good wrestler and he has a great
No, we're not
character.
shitting on
But
Christian as a wrestler. We're just shitting on Chris. I'm not shitting on Christian the wrestler. I'm
no,
shitting on booking the choice.
right.
Because because if that was the case, you might as well have to put Osprey, if you really wanted some jeopardy, Osprey versus Swerve. Because at this point, if you're going by what TK says is their ranking system, Osprey is the mandatory goddamn challenger.
Well, you can't always believe those ranking systems.
Well, I've told you that from day one, but no
Yeah.
one listened to me. Told you motherfuckers, like Pac was undefeated for like damn near 6 months, didn't get a title shot. Like, fuck you me, fuck you me. Shit.
And people will say, well, they're putting Cody against AJ. That's predictable. We know Cody's gonna win. Well, yeah, we know Cody's gonna win, but AJ Styles is arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and he just came out of a really hot rivalry with LA Knight. This is the most over AJ Styles has been for a really long time. Um, Christian Cage, while the gimmick is hot, he just lost the TNT Championship to Edge in an I Quit match like a month ago. So why is he even and he didn't get his comeuppance against Edge. He didn't get, his heat back with Edge. So I just question why he's getting the title match at all. But that's AEW logic for you, no?
you're gonna put him in a title match, put it against someone who's been on the uptick, and doesn't Christian get the rematch? And that's where everything throws me off, because it's like, if you're a champion, why wouldn't he have a rematch clause? But I mean, it doesn't. A lot of things with AEW doesn't make sense in the sense of how they're shooting their matches. But the Swerve Christian is kind of uber. It screams uber predictability, and eventually TK is going to have to figure out what he's going to do, because I already know if he had his way, Ospreay would have the title today if it wasn't for the fact that everyone in AEW's fan base, is on the Swerve When I Drive. So
yeah,
and that's not knocking Swerve. So let me put that to the people. Swerve is a hell of a wrestler who is hella over, and everyone keeps yelling that he was not used properly in WWE, which to me is bullshit. I think him and Joe became a casualty of the Vince McMahon Triple H succession power.
right.
And they made the most of it.
You know, as of right now, put I wouldn't put the title on Ospreay. You know, the people chose Swerve Strickland to be their next champion. Their Swerve Strickland is their guy,
Right.
and putting the title on him and then stripping it away from him like a couple months later. I don't think that's gonna hurt the little fan base that they have left. If I'm being honest, I think
Well, the
so anyway.
question,
I mean, they
the
haven't
big,
even.
what are,
Yeah,
the thing is, what are they going to do to keep him busy in the meantime? Because at least with Swerve, you had him with Hangman, who was the champion, and you had Hangman costing him the champion. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, it was like an arc. He had an arc villain in that sense. Who is Ospreay's arc enemy to get to the title?
I guess we're going to have to figure that out.
Right.
Um, and I mean, they haven't necessarily been treating Swerve with the best. You know, he wins the championship on a 4-hour pay-per-view. You know, a lot of people. By the time we got to Swerve and Joe, we're like, okay, win the match so we could go home now, and win the match so we could do something else but watch AEW. You know, you want to have a little celebration with the new champion, see what he has to say. They put him in an immediate title match on Dynamite that nobody talked about because Moxley was defending the IWGP champion, and
Which is a shocking win, by the way.
yeah, and you know, obviously the Tony Khan took the Meltzer drive or whatever, and then from what I heard this week, there wasn't a lot of Swerve Strickland on the show either. So, you know, they're pretty much burying him with all of the other bad crap that they have on the show. And it's getting overshadowed by the worst of crap in the Elite and Jack Perry and everything else.
I'm gonna say this. I called that Jack Perry shit. But because I mean, there's no benefit of showing that unless you're doing it.
Right.
Now, you could be right with the Swerve part being a casualty of the fact that he's stuck in all this and he's trying to figure it out. Um, My biggest issue is that I hope AEW fans are not, oh, he got the title, now who's next to get it? Because it seems like with certain champions, and not just Swerve, like you can see it with Cody, uh, in the sense that, oh yeah, they won the title, now who's next to get it, right? Like they're counting down the reign right as the reign is starting.
Right.
Which to me is the most utter bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I feel like that only happens, when they count down the title the championship reign, when there are when that champion wrestles people that they deem to want them to want to have the championship. Like, if Cody Rhodes wrestled LA Knight, for example, at Backlash.
Oh shit, it's over.
Exactly. So, but, it's not LA Knight, it's AJ Styles. Well, AJ Styles had the championship. Would it be cool to see him win the championship again? Of course. Is he? No. Is he as over as Cody as a heel? Absolutely not. So we're going to cheer, Cody. The opposite of that is Seth Rollins versus Nakamura, where we wanted to see Nakamura win the championship because he was never a WWE champion before, and we wanted him to get that right. You kind of see how I'm viewing this.
Yes.
It depends on who the challenger is.
Well, my only rebuttal against all this is that if they're really trying to go off any given day, someone can do it. It wouldn't matter who the challenger is. Because anybody can get got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, if you're trying to live it off this fact that, oh, God, like, prime example, when Cody fought Mello.
Yeah.
What was the difference between Mello winning it and AJ winning it? Because I can make the argument Mello is in a better position long term than AJ will ever be, and that's not and that's not coming from the point of AJ ain't shit, but they're pretty much going to be betting the farm on Mello for years to come.
Well, Mello is a story you can tell in the long form, and that match was just to sprinkle some Cody dust on him to get people looking at him.
I mean, he didn't need the Cody dust to look at him.
He needed the Cody dust.
Bullshit.
He got
bullshit. Because I can tell you right now, the top 3 matches that people were talking about Mania weekend: Cody Roman, the tag match, Swerve Trick. Swerve Trick was fucking over.
But who got more over? Trick. People are.
Which was that? But that was the point of it. That was the point.
And it benefited Trick, not Mello. So
bullshit. It benefited Mello because the thing is this: when Mello got drafted, is he heel or face?
I'm imagining he's heel after what he said to Cody.
That's my point. So it's like it's nothing of a continuation of what he already done. You see what I'm saying? So even him facing Cody as the heel, I mean, to me, Mello gained more with the Trick match than the Cody match. Don't get me wrong, Cody made him look strong. I'm not saying that. But I'll put it this way. Considering Melo's trajectory the last 2 years, that I guess that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how he was from Mania 33 to now. And that dude, the Cody match really wouldn't, I mean, it did nothing no bigger than what he's already done in the past year.
Let's shelf this conversation for when we talk about the draft.
Of course.
We will get back to it.
We're getting, see, y'all came to the right. I came back today, see, looked at my wrist, I got time today.
Well, unfortunately, talking about the shelf, you will find Julia Hart on it. She injured her shoulder. She had surgery. She will be back. And not expected anytime soon. Which is kind of terrible if I'm being honest. She was an AEW OG. She got over with the House of Black. She was arguably the most over member of the House of Black. And now she kind of has to go into that good night for some time. Maybe that might be beneficial for her in the long run. But what say you, Kaliko?
Yeah, she was the most over member of the House of Black, but I think more people were with her because she, from what all recounts that I've seen, is that she's probably one of the more genuine souls on that roster as far as like interaction wise. So of course it's going to buy you that time.
Having met her,
all that
sweetheart.
You say what?
Having met her, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a sweetheart. So it's unfortunate not only on that, it's more unfortunate on that front than anything else. And I think she's probably going to be over as a face when she gets back. Which is, are they going to get her away from the House of Black? Time will tell, but in the meantime, to one of the more genuine souls, speedy recovery. Glad the surgery went well.
And, there's never a right time to get injured. It kind of sucks, whenever it does happen. But it might have been the best of times because AEW wasn't necessarily looking at her with, Mercedes Moné going after Willow. And, obviously Tony is untouchable at this point. So, nobody was really going to be looking at Julia.
Oh yeah, Tony's goddamn untouchable.
So, when she does come back, maybe that division is going to need her a hell of a lot more than they do right now. And I hope that they do, because I like myself some Julia Hart.
Side note. Shout out for Toni Storm, because that promo she cut the night before Dynasty was a fucking gold mine.
Because Nikki Garcia can't hold a pussy-scented candle to her.
Well, between that and the fact that she said that this belt basks in the what did she say? That bask in the sun. Oh, it basks in the sun that shines off my ass. Couldn't get better than that. And then the fact that she said that I make love to my demons and they know my address. That promo was just awesome. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I usually, and for us that we are like AEW, it seems like people are gonna think we're AEW flakers. I have to give props where props is due. That promo was fire.
Oh yeah.
As shit.
Well, keeping on the injury list, MJF had shoulder surgery. Um, he's going to be out for the foreseeable future as well. He's already been out for a good amount of time anyway. I think the last time we've seen him was the end of December. So he's already out for months, and I can't imagine it's going to be any less than another 6 months with the shoulder surgery. Um,
Yeah,
he's
6 to 9, give or take, depending on the severity.
I can't imagine that he's not going to miss all of AEW's bigger events. And as far as if you believe in rumor and innuendos, he did resign with AEW.
If he did, Tony Khan would have been the first person to go out of his way to say that he did.
Oh, actually, you might not be wrong about that. So you might be right about that. So are we saying that MJF may not be signed with AEW as of right now? That he may still be a free agent?
I'll believe it when they announce, because I'll put it this way. WWE didn't go out of their WWE went out of their way to go, hey, Seth is with us, homie. Like,
Oh, that's true. And Drew, for that, the Rock announced that Drew was staying.
The Rock delivered him a fucking sword when he was. Do you see my point here? Like,
Yeah.
when it's someone that you value, and especially someone who you view as a franchise player, you're going out of your way to be like, hey, we kept him.
Trolley, I hear Tony Khan say to the great crowd we have in Chicago that we have re-signed MJF, and I have given him the ceremonial cocaine.
I mean, you saw how he was with Will Ospreay. I'm just telling you.
There was some ceremonial there, but nothing that we could show on camera.
Oh God.
um, Something not to celebrate is AEW losing its international streaming deal. A streaming service that streams to more of the other countries in the world. I believe parts of Asia, Europe, Scandinavia, etc. Um, they dropped AEW. It was supposed to be a multi-year deal. After exactly 1 year, they dropped AEW. Stating that they every show that they put on their platform underperformed, with the exception of the couple of main shows that AEW did, being Double or Nothing, All In, All Out, etc. What does that kind of say about AEW, that they're getting dropped by these big international deals? Especially considering Tony Khan has been saying, "Oh, Warner Brothers has been so great to us. They're so happy with what we're doing. We're going to make so much money off this new rights deal." And then you have reality hit you, where an international streaming service said, "Well, you underperformed for us. We're kicking you out."
Well, this answer is going to be multi-layered for me.
Okay.
One, AEW has not expanded shit, which is the biggest problem of them, and we've gone over that. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse with it. B, I think their Warner Brothers deal has everything to do with what NBA does with TNT.
Okay.
Because the TNT deal, as far as the NBA, is actually in the realm of negotiations. And what did I say was the biggest show on TV right now for TNT, which is Warner Brothers?
The Inside the NBA.
Exactly. So, if they might be a casualty, if I were them, either they're hoping that NBA is gone so they could have more leverage, or if NBA stays, they might become a casualty.
Which is kind of what's the word, ironic, that they would maybe meet the same fate as WCW, considering that they patterned themselves so much after WCW.
I mean, but even WCW placated to their base, but they also placated to their base with like one of the biggest groups of all time. Um,
Well, what I mean is that the network didn't want WCW on their TV anymore, so they got rid of them.
I mean, I don't think that's the case, but I also look at it like this: the number one money generator for any TV is going to be live sports, because that's one thing that everyone, no matter what age, demographic, or whatever the case, is willing to actually get cable and or TV services for. Because the one thing that it's like uh, the Sunday ticket, right? Everyone bitches about the price, but you don't want to be the motherfucker that misses the football game.
Right.
So and that's where I have the issue with AEW, because at least with WWE, they have the track record over the last 30 years ago. Hey, we've been hot, and now they're back on the upswing. You see what I'm saying?
If you hear WWE is coming to your town, it doesn't necessarily matter who from WWE is coming, but that WWE is coming. You're going to buy a ticket.
Oh no, look at the tickets for Ontario. Them bitches
Right.
just in our backyard. Them hoes are like still high.
Right.
And that's without Seth, without Cody. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's in September, so we'll see how when we get closer.
But no, well, no, no, no. What I'm saying is Cody's on SmackDown. Seth is gone with a knee.
Right.
It's literally just Becky Lynch and the Super Friends of Wrestling.
McIntyre and Punk possibly.
Right, Punk. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to get at here. WWE, the name is more important than the wrestlers. AEW is having this identity crisis. It's like, do they want to placate to their base? Well, and not even do they. They are placating to their base more so than they are trying to expand their tent.
Right. And that's always been to the detriment of them. And each week AEW Dynamite, the flagship show comes on, ratings go down further and further at the longer we go out.
Yeah.
All right. And maybe one of those reasons is about our next news segment. Uh, and you know what? I'm gonna start it out with an actual story of how I came to find out about this news. Um, so I was talking to my mom, and she was saying that somebody fell off a mountain, and she wondered if that was Darby Allin. And I said, well, that can't be Darby Allin, unfortunately, because he broke his ankle, so he can't climb a mountain with a broken ankle. He's recovering. I swear to God, 20 minutes later, I saw that Darby Allin got hit by a bus.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but that's fucked up.
No, he didn't fall off a mountain. No, he got hit by a fucking bus. And Sting
I'm just
pushed
trying.
him. Talk about a cliche in real life. It's wrong to laugh about it, but he did break his nose. But it is it's a very Darby Allin thing to happen. No,
It is, unfortunately. I hate laughing, but I hope he gets well. That, there's a movie called Pure Luck with Martin Short and Donald and Danny Glover, in which like the guy is like the epitome of bad luck. Everything would happen to him. Like anything that could go wrong will go wrong. I feel like that's Darby Allin right now.
I also feel like he's an adrenaline junkie. Maybe he felt like he could outrun the bus with a broken ankle and he didn't.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guess we're throwing Darby Allin under the bus at this point, but it seems like he was already there. Haha.
Uh-huh.
Alright, that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors. So,
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more win.
use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with WWE Draft 2024. It was settled, all done, dusted, and took over the course of um, 2 nights, Friday and Monday. God knows why they did that, because it's fucking stupid. Just get it all done in one night. Get done. Make it less confusing as well. Um, we'll talk about the Raw. The way we'll break this down, the SmackDown roster. And hopefully, you won't be as confused as we were when we saw this. Alright, we got staying on Raw, Damian Priest, Becky Lynch, Awesome Truth, Sami Zayn, Imperium, new to no, let's talk about the people out staying. No, let's talk about the people that got drafted. That's why we're here. Got drafted to Raw. We have Damage, C-Troll, um, Io Sky, and on that farm there was a Dakota Kai, an Asuka, and a pirate, Kairi Sane. We also have the LWO, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, um, um, Jacqueline Wild, and Del Toro Cruz, and Zelina Vega, with Carlito, who is not a part of LWO, but, you know, getting drafted up from NXT, we have the Mad Dragon, Ilja Dragunov, yeah.
Dragonoff.
Then we have Lyra Leukemia. Then we have the Final Testament, Carrion Cross, Scarlet, the writers of Ouchie, Enkum, and Jaime, with Paul Ellering. And we also have Braun Breaker. Was Sheamus part of Raw before? I feel like he was. Yeah. Kiana James from NXT. From SmackDown, Alba Frey and Isla Dawn. We have... No, they were already Raw. From SmackDown, New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Master Bates. We got Dijak back on main roster TV as well. And Odyssey Jones, who I don't remember being on Raw or SmackDown, so he must have came up from NXT. So, out of all the names that I said, any of them do anything for you? Anything poke up your ears?
The former NXT Women's Champion, because I want to see how they put her in a women's division. She sticks out. Dragunov sticks out because he might be the new. Everyone keeps saying, and the rumor is that he's going to get the Gunther treatment. Who else? Kiana James is going to be interesting too, because they're drafting these girls as singles competitors, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, are they actually trying to put these ladies as legit contenders as the future of this women's division? And I think that they have a shot. I think those rooks have a shot, especially the females. And the way that you see how Tiffany Stratton has been booked, you're like, oh shit, they might have a shot if they put it in that right mold, right?
Right.
Granted, Tiffany Stratton has been putting in that work. So, the newer NXT people are very intriguing just to figure out their place. Because keep in mind, this is, I think, the first time we're doing the draft where in the post McMahon era where they're not coming up as not the gimmick that is opposite of what got them over in NXT.
Right.
So that is the biggest key. So let's figure out if the connectivity stays.
Well, obviously, Damage Control, Io Sky. Io Sky versus Becky Lynch. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be great shit. I can't imagine that's not going to be banger after banger if they have a long form program with each other.
Oh, I don't see it. Because honestly,
Oh, Kaliko? If you can hear me, you dropped.
God damn,
I hear
I'm
you
still
now.
here.
I got you. I hear you now.
I blame Ontario for this. I don't know if it's Ontario, Drake, Canada, or Ontario, California, but I'm blaming somebody for this. Anyways, I, Io, her story is more with Bailey. I think Liv is going to be the person to unthrone Becky.
Right. But, I mean, does the championship need to be on the line for Io and Becky to have a great match?
No, but Becky, because Io versus Becky without the title, who do you got winning?
I mean, it could go either way, honestly. I could definitely.
Really? Really?
If the belt's not on the line,
Really?
if the belt's,
No. Just not even not putting the title on the line. Let's just say no title at all. Who you got?
I could see that they'll give them Io a win over
Boy,
Becky.
you smoking crack right now. What the hell is wrong with you?
So you're telling me that Becky would feel more comfortable giving a win to Lyra Valkyria on NXT than she would to a former WWE Women's Champion in Io?
Yes.
The fuck? Oh, I think you dropped. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Yeah, you definitely, I can hear you. Well, I'll move on for the moment. Um, you mentioned Kiana James, coming up. And, it might have been a big, move for her. But I honestly see her getting lost in the shuffle, considering, Lyra Valkyria does have that W on Becky, and they have been promoting her a hell of a lot more prominently than Kiana, just the way that they do things. And considering, they did nothing with Kaylee Ray, um, Alba Fire on SmackDown, I would be more remiss that they might do something with her on Raw, which, kind of fills out that women's roster. But if you're back, Kaliko, what are your thoughts? And you are not back. So, what are your kind of thoughts on what I just said?
I mean, I get it. Um, I just look at it like they're gonna have to crop these new women because we're at a point where the Four Horsewomen has more days behind them than ahead of them. So eventually you gotta turn it over. And Illyria, who's on the roster, who has a win over Becky, a Kiana who could possibly get on there and show what she has to do, makes more sense. Hell, even a JC Jane, a Gigi needs to have a shot. Like, a lot of these girls are going to have to get a shot eventually because they got a roster. It's just a matter of, hey, you got to showcase it now because eventually the turnover is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. But, if they can't necessarily hang with the Four Horsemen, then, you kind of know who your players are or and aren't. Obviously, Io and Becky are going to be major flag bearers for Raw and holding up that guard, in my opinion.
I think Becky's going to be there till Liv gets the title.
Well,
The long-term story is Liv's gonna get the. Everyone thought she was gonna get it off GP because she did the whole Rhea thing, which I think that was the original intention, but the injury kind of knocked things off, so it kind of gives it a nice little detour.
Right, and probably by the time we're conducting this, that Liv might already be champion, considering she was supposed to wrestle Becky at Backlash.
I would say SummerSlam.
We'll see. I think we could maybe agree that it's an interesting shakeup for the women's division that it may have needed. Like I said, I'm interested to see what Alba Fire does because she was already a banger of a wrestler to begin with. Isola has kind of held her back, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Albert Fry was like a former NXT UK Women's Champion, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The longest reigning, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So, I mean, she's got it. It's just a matter of showcasing it. And with a lot of older guards on SmackDown and a lot of older guards on this roster in general, it gives them a chance to show that they can go until they pull those triggers. And that, to me, means more than anything. They need to show that, hey, we have the next group coming.
Right. On the opposite end of that spectrum, when I look at the LWO, Rey Mysterio, obviously Dominic, they're gonna be running that back sooner rather than later. Whether or not the rest of the LWO is with him, remains to kind of be seen.
I don't know. Rey Mysterio's getting this little rap that everybody seems to betray him. I don't know if he's got like this bad homie syndrome or something, but I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck is going on with him, but we got to figure it out with Ray, man.
And then, we're talking about Dragunov. Considering that Imperium dropped Leonardo da Vinci, I could easily see
Da Vinci.
I could easily see him slide into Imperium as the third member and kind of have maybe a little bit of a power struggle between Gunther and Dragunov.
That was always in the rumor mill. The only reason I'm like, is because didn't Dragunov beat Gunther in the first place?
I mean, yeah, but it was a long time ago and nobody remembers that. So,
Man, why would the fuck would I? Bullshit. Why would I join a person that I already whooped their ass? Why would I be That's my. When I'm looking at it common sense wise, I already whooped your ass. Why the fuck would I be your lackey?
Well, I could also believe that Gunther would bring him in, posing it as they're equals, so Dragunov doesn't, go after him. It's rather to have somebody that, like Dragunov on your side, rather than against you, because he's had that question answered in the past.
You could be right there. I just look at it like it's almost like how can I put it? It's like if Kevin Durant beat the Warriors, and everybody knows what I'm talking about here, and he still went and joined the Warriors.
Well, if they paid him a lot of money, I can't imagine he wouldn't.
That ain't the point, sir. Like, why would I join the team that I already beat? Is the point. Why would I join a person I already whooped their ass? Is the biggest question.
Well, obviously, New Catch Republic is going to form...
New Catch Republic?
Yeah,
No.
that's not a play on words. That's what they're named.
Ugh.
Um,
Is it?
yeah, they're
Motherfucker, I think New Czech Republic.
well. I can imagine that they're not going to go back to Sheamus and from Bangor Bros 2.0, Bangor Hub. It's going to be a Bangor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Lord help us.
Or it's going to be Burger Bros. Considering
Burger Bros. Oh
yeah, what
gosh.
Sheamus has been dealing with as of recent. Um, I question why they made such a big deal about signing Braun Breaker to SmackDown if they were just going to draft him to Raw. Kaliko?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm. You might be right. You got it, sir.
What about Dijak? He had that. He had banger after banger with Keith Lee. It seemed like he was going places. Then they renamed him Transgender Bar. And he never really recovered after that. He kind of really.
I mean, he recovered. Just recovered in NXT.
You did you see his finger after that match?
His what?
Don't you remember his finger was out of place? It was really.
Oh, he don't give a shit. He don't give a shit.
Well, anyway, do you see that this could maybe be the resurgence of Dijak that we should have seen maybe 5 years ago?
I think so. Well, it depends who they match him with. I mean, he's a lanky, slender guy who's rather agile and is willing to put that ass on the line. So he'll probably be the steady hand.
I mean, if they do what they did with Mello on SmackDown with him and Priest, that might help him. But who knows? Is there anything you want to go over for the Raw picks of the draft? Or should we move on to SmackDown? Kaliko?
Damn it.
Yeah, I just heard you.
Okay. It's someone put it in a meme perfectly. When you see them hold a draft just to pick the.
Oh, you went out again. If you can hear me, you went out. Are we gonna see Kaliko respawn?
Oh no, I'm here.
Respawned! He's back.
God damn it. I don't know what the hell. Okay, so someone put it in a meme where it was like, when you see them have a draft and they draft the same motherfuckers that were already there.
Right.
That is.
Yeah.
That explains it all right there.
I go back to the draft in 2004 where it was just, at random. They picked Raw picked a couple people, SmackDown picked a couple people. We wasn't confused of who was on what show, who stayed where. It was just, it was. And it was a lot less confusing than what they're doing now.
Damn, that for damn sure.
Alright, let's get to SmackDown. I will say, the champions did stay on SmackDown as well. Cody Rhodes, Bayley, A-Town Down Under, Logan Paul or SmackDown. Also staying on SmackDown, the Pride and the Prejudice, Bobby Darcy, Montez Darcy, and Angelo Darcy with BFAB.
What is with you and these Darcys?
Mr. Darcy, Pride and Prejudice.
How dare you?
What? They're calling themselves the Pride and the Prejudice.
I know that. Might as well just call them the Black Panther Party. Oh, but nevertheless, I'm not gonna go there.
Getting drafted to SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven. Candice LeRae and Independent Hartwell. Do It Yourself, Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Do it yourself, Shawn Michaels.
Blair Davenport, Carmelo Hayes, um, Andrade Del Idaho, Cedric Alexander, and Adrian Diodonis.
Adrian Dondonis, yeah.
Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci, Tegan Knox, and Apollo Crews are all drafted to SmackDown. Any names stick out to you at the beginning of that list?
Blair Davenport, for sure.
Yep.
Of course, Mello. Honestly, it's more about the new guys. Because, honestly, this whole draft has been about the NXT guys. Because it's like, are you guys going to still do that NXT shit where we just figure out, like, they don't know who they are and they're going through an identity crisis? Or you're going to actually put them in matches where they could actually lose the match, but they actually look respectable in doing so. And to me, that is the biggest thing. That's the...
Oh, can you hear me? You went out. Oh, Kaliko?
Hello?
Respawned.
Respawn. Jesus Christ. Anyway. So that's the biggest concern I have. How they do these rooks is more important to me than what they do in general.
Well, I could, like you said, Blair Davenport, DX of Will Ospreay. I could easily see them taking the belt off Bayley, slapping it on her, and saying, "We got the better deal out of this." You know what I mean?
Right. And it's just a matter of how they do them. I swear to God. Like, even if they lose matches, because I expect them to sometimes, in the beginning, it's about how they lose. Are they losing getting their ass squashed, or are they actually showcasing them like Melo did with Cody? Big difference.
Oh, yeah. And, going back to Melo, he can be. It really depends on how they book him, because he can be a big time player for WWE. But if he doesn't get booked the proper way, I kind of see him maybe falling to the wayside like an Austin Theory did in recent years.
Well, the difference between Theory and him, Theory got pushed in the limelight too quick. He became a victim of luck. Because keep in mind, he got pushed to the roster super quick when COVID happened.
Right. But
So
he was on the down for yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they already exposed him before they put him back down.
Right.
So he never got a chance, and then he already had the bad rep, because keep in mind, he will forever be known as the viral guy that let Montez Ford flip on his back and who did catch him in the middle of the ring. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the stigma was already there. So that kind of for better or for worse, gave him the good or bad juju. Vice Mello got in. He got to showcase what he could do. He showed that he could have quality matches, quality promos. Had the hottest feud one of the hottest feuds in NXT with Trick Williams. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I gotcha.
So there's a difference there. And to me, that's the biggest key. Like I just hope they don't do him like they did Johnny Gargano.
Which is
Because
also drafted to
because
SmackDown.
Johnny Gargano and NXT are literally, I mean, Gargano and Mello are literally like the same build in a sense when you think about it.
And Johnny Gargano is nowhere in the talks of being a top guy in WWE on the main roster, while he's arguably the biggest star in NXT.
Right, and that's not. I'm not gonna say that it's Gargano's fault because he came in, and that's where I think you got to put the NXT stars in gaps because you have the NXT people that were there with Vince. Then you have the NXT stars that are stuck in that power struggle. That's what I call it, NXT power struggle, where they were trying to figure out, oh, we're pulling these people up, and Vince is like, I don't know, and they keep kind of like bumping heads. So now this is the first crop of stars that are just solely under Triple H with no input from Vince, and the rise and the fall is all going to be on him. So if they succeed and if they fail, he can't go, well, Vince and you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is probably the most important draft class of rookies for him. Point blank, period.
I mean, it really is sink or swim at this point.
Yeah.
Like, with Vince it could be 50-50, but if you come from NXT and you straight up suck during the Triple H regime, then it's all on you.
Right. Because Triple H has already shown he's in the mode of booking long term.
Right.
So we'll see where they go. And the question is, who's good? Rookie of the Year, male, I'm going Mello for next year. And Rookie of the Year, female, I expect Blair to get more shine than anyone.
I
Because
mean,
Bailey's on a roster where she needs people to mess with.
right.
And actually, you know what? Scratch. Tiffany Stratton, Rookie of the Year.
That's what I was going to mention.
Tiffy time.
Yeah. All Leon, MVP breakout star for 2024. I'm looking at you, Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, no. I don't. Maybe Jobber of the Year. That seems more on par for him.
Man, schoolboy pin on Gunther changes all that.
Other things have happened. What about Shinsuke Nakamura? Does he stay at mid card obscurity, or does he get a shot at the big time? I don't think so, because considering who's at the top.
Ooh, Cody? He'll get a shot at the big time.
I mean, but he's not going to get a run.
I mean,
Shinsuke Nakamura is not being Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship.
unless he wins Money in the Bank.
I think his time has passed to win Money in the Bank, but that's...
What? We said said that about, man, you know, you motherfuckers, we said, Bailey was past her time and she fucking won that bitch and high shot that bitch and cashed that bitch.
That was peak Bailey.
No.
Yes, she was still.
20,
She still had.
2020 was peak Bailey.
Okay,
No, 2020 to 2021 was peak Bailey.
okay, I'll give you that. But we're talking about peak Hugger Bailey with the the scrunchie on top and the inflatable belly buddies.
No, hell no. I refute that, sir. Peak Bailey with the scrunchie and the Huggies was like NXT champion Bailey. Like, fuck that.
Well, we
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.